Yes, many thanks for joining us this brand new day as we dive into everything sports, no talk back on the show. It was indeed a great weekend of sporting activities around the globe. Yes, we talk about these. From the tennis court where Alcaraz faces defending champion Yannick Sinner in the Cincinnati ATP final to Wimbledon champ Iga Swiatek, the pole lady battling her way to the final against Elena Rybakina. In Formula One news, Daniel Ricciardo was injured in a dirt bike accident after a rare public appearance taken to the hospital after the mischief in North Queensland. Meanwhile, Liam Lawson, weary of late season expectations in boxing, Moses Ituamatias threw Dillian White for a first-round finish in a cross heavyweight clash. And speaking of the drama at Old Trafford, the better side lost. Sorry I'm sounding this way, but that's just what it is. Arsenal Ricardo Calafiori's goal was the difference between the two sides. I am Kizzy K, your host on the show this day. Welcome to Sports Republic Timeout on the Voice of People Television. We've got so much sporting news to talk about. We've got so much sports to talk about. Right now, let's get into it properly. Starting off with one, the Premier League Gunners, Arsenal. Ghana, you can say Ghana's corner, Red Devils rather, in opening day duel. Well, we'll bring you the news. The man you have on your screen is the man whose goal separated both sides. His name is Ricardo Calafiori. He's a very quality player, signed from Bologna, Italian international. He's got the quality, he's got the job to do, he knows it very well, and that's why he scored that very goal. But regardless, give credit to who it's due. The Arsenal side, they won the game, but they were not the better side. But can I tell you, Arsenal secured a fourth successive opening day victory in the Premier League and just a third in 18 top-flight visit to Old Trafford as they saw off Manchester United 1-0. Hope filled the air at the sun-kissed Old Trafford with the host. Desperate to put their worst season of the era, you could talk about the Premier League era, behind them while Arsenal set out yet another title chase with a change. Now, rolled by the Stratford end, it was United who flew out of the traps, stringing together some promising moves, a bit without threatening David Raya. That game saw a lot of talk points. On the other hand, Turkish international Altay Bayındır, deputizing for Andre Onana, spectacularly failed his first test of the campaign as he could only flap at Declan Rice in swinging corner. That error redirected the ball to the back post where Ricardo Calafiori nodded. That goal, he nodded home from point-blank range to the top of the goal and to put Gunners ahead in that very clash. That marked the 12th successive league trip to Old Trafford in which Arsenal have scored, and the goal helped Mikel Arteta's men settle into the contest. Further chances came up at the premium, but once the hosts found their feet, they showcased their danger. They showcased the danger they possesses. And then, you say Arsenal, were the better side? No, you can't say that. One of the several high-profile summer acquisitions, Man United winger Brian Bremo saw an effort deflected wide before Patrick Dogo rifled the low drive ahead of the base of the post. While Brian Bremo fell new boy Matheus Cunha forced David Raya into the pair of saves. That was what the visitors did, and they preserved their slender lead at the break. But the Gunners' Italian maestro, who got a clean shot, 64 million pound signing, from Bologna, struggled, and then he edged the Red Devils on their own patch. Now you can say Arsenal won only their third game at Old Trafford since 2006 with a battling 1-0 victory in their Premier League opener on Sunday. It was telling that the man of the match was no other name but David Raya, as Mikel Arteta's man, who has now 31 goals from corners since the start of the 2024 season, secured all 3 points in an unconvincing fashion. It was really unconvincing. So before we talk about Arsenal rating, but basically the Arsenal setup, because they won the game, let's watch, possibly listen to both managers as regards what they have to say concerning the results. Let's start off with the home side coach Ruben Amorim before we bring you Mikel Arteta's talk, what they said about the game. Amorim's interview is next. Just watch this. We'll be back shortly.
The goal, I think it's a lot to do a lot of things in the corners. We need to do the same. But when you touch that way in the goalkeeper, he needs to use his hands to catch the ball, not to push players, or he choose to push players and let the ball pass. But again, it's the rules. If he's allowed I think he suffered a goal like this where
Tottenham last season.
without VAR, without VAR, with VAR, with VAR is a foul. And then what happened in the next game?
Okay, may I ask?
What happened in the next game?
At Wolves.
No, not at Wolves. The next one, Arsenal. Who saved the penalty? Who saved the game? All the game.
That was a penalty.
No. Before the penalty. You don't remember the game. I remember the game. Altay was unbelievable in that game. So I consider everything to put one on another, and I choose Altay. I think we proved today that we can win any game in the Premier League, especially against a great team like Arsenal, and we were the better team. So I'm happy with the players.
My question: are you happy with the 3 goalkeepers?
I'm happy with the 3 goalkeepers.
Okay, so we brought you that very one. It was just on the pulse. Ruben Amorim, the manager of Manchester United, he said a lot about that one. But I like something about Arteta, I'll tell you. But for Ruben Amorim, what he said struck my mind. He said, if that's the way the game should go, then maybe we have to continue that way. But Bayern there, the goalkeeper who deputized for Andre Onana, people were asking question, why not Onana? Why did he use Bayern there? Don't you think he has missed that? And he said, no, you can't say that. He was unbelievable the other time, saved the penalty. So because of one game, it's not cool enough for us to hold the Turkish international to ransom. But quickly on the show, let's bring you one more. Arteta. What does Mikel Arteta, the Spanish international Arsenal coach, what does he have to say about that very game? He said this, just watch this.
Big results coming. First game of the season at Old Trafford. When you feel that they are building something special, momentum with the new signings, and they want to kick on the season in a good way, and you are able to come away with the win, I think very happy and proud of the team. When you see, I think there are 7-8 situations when the ball is completely open to play through, and we are on, and we're attacking the keeper. And we give that ball away, and then becomes a basketball game, and a basketball game against a team that is extremely good at finishing action with the quality that they had. That's a very difficult thing to do. That's why I talk about the reaction to that, because if you don't react in relation to that mistake quick enough, sharp enough, you're in big problem. He did a lot of things very good. You can tell, especially in our high press and the rhythm that we demand, that especially in the first half we were giving a bit too much time. It's something that we have to work on him, especially there. And then, finalizing situation, he didn't have that many chances to do that because, as I said, on the previous action, before we had to play that last ball, that the line was standing still with 40 meters behind, we didn't manage to put the ball through to exploit his quality. But overall, I mean, coming away to Manchester United, winning your first game with Arsenal, it's a good start.
Right, everybody knows if you see that game well, if you did see that game well, you would understand that the better side lost. I don't believe there's a word like luck in football, but I must give credit to Ruben Amorim, the way he transitioned his team. I saw a different Manchester United class. I saw, Matis Delic in the back line controlling Victor Gyökeres. There was no way he could make some moves. We did see also the pairing. The pairing was not bad. Lenny Yoro, he's just a young kid out there trying to get the grade for himself. And then Luke Shaw was back on the game. You go to the right, Diogo Dalot were back fine. Like, the line was great. Now you look at the midfield, Casemiro was just on his A game. Marcus Konya was somewhere attacking. Bruno Fernandes in the midfield, giving those classic passes that you can see for any striker wanting to see. Now, Brian Mbeumo, he did not disappoint me any time. I love the way he played. He was just fantastic to talk about. But let's say it right. Arsenal, I saw Mason Mount. I saw a player who was living up his game, but they struggled in a bit. But later on, they stole the show. And then, what more can we talk about? What team? Arsenal. Rated the better side. Let's even do some rating on the show. Number 1 with David Raya. For me, he's the man of the match. I'm talking about Arsenal now because they won the game. He pulled out some vital stops to keep energetic United at bay and showed Bayern there how to control the area. Another man again, I will give 6/10 possibly, because I'll give David Raya 8. I'll give Ben White 6/10 because he was neat and tidy going forward, but his attacking runs, moving up front, made an Arsenal were exposed in defense. Now, William Saliba, the French international, will go 7/10. He seemed a bit unsettled early, but played a big part in Arsenal goal with his physicality, and he paired with Gabriel Magalhaes, and they settled in the second period and chipped in with some crucial stops later on. Gabriel Magalhaes also, I will give him 7 over 10. He got into a couple of good physical tussle with Brown Buemo and made some important tackles in his final third. But the goal scorer, Ricardo Calafiore, he gave Arsenal the lead with an easy header, but he found life rather difficult against the tricky Buemo. Popped up with some timely interceptions though. And then let's talk about the midfield of Arsenal. Martin Zubimendi, I think he was brought from Real Sociedad, and that man was brought into the team to give them depth, like an extra quality and control the back line, but he showed a little of that, and that was his Premier League debut. Now Declan Rice is devilishly difficult corner. He's now like a set-piece king, but then he gave Arsenal the opener with that cross, but instead of making driving runs into the United's half, the midfielder was often hanging onto United's cocktails. So I'll say no for me. Then Martin Odegaard, maybe he just showed some signs of Odegaard of the 24-23 season or 23-24 season campaign, but the consistency was lacking a tad. Now, when you look into the front line of Arsenal, Gabriel Martinelli, 6 over 10, I'll give him, because he put in some hard yards from his team, but other than a couple of neat passes, the Brazilian didn't threaten United backline a great deal. Then the poorest of them all, I'm sorry to sound this way, Victor Gyökeres, 4 over 10. Even though those passes were not really coming, the passes came off position. The summer signing showed glimpses of his power and pace, but the former Sporting CP striker had an underwhelming outing. He didn't hold the ball particularly well. He lost the vast majority of the time. He lost the duels and created no chances. So credit goes to Matthias de Ligt for helping that man and making sure he did not play well. Then for Saka, some say Bukayo Saka, he didn't seem like he was in the game for long though, but was outshone by Dogo and then Luke Shaw. So that's about the game that we saw yesterday. A lot of games was played actually Saturday, Sunday, but we just want to tell them more about the basic, like not only basic, like the main game, that's what, in the Premier League, the biggest feature of them all, where Man United lost at home to Arsenal. Okay, so let's start up properly and talk about Nigeria. This should be talked about, right? I don't know. I'm just thinking of where do I start from talking about the Nigerian game. Nigeria will play Congo. And that's the home base Super Eagles B. They will face a decisive test against Congo, and that's their final group stage fixture of the 2024 African Nations Championship, some right to call CHAN. This clash will be staged at the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania on Tuesday, August 19. But Eric Chelle and his men will enter this contest under intense pressure after back-to-back defeats to Senegal and Sudan, which have left them rooted to the bottom of the Group B. Nigeria must rediscover their attacking rhythm, their attacking prowess, having failed to score in both outings so far. What about Congo? Meanwhile, remain unbeaten after 2 successive draws. On each occasion, the Red Devils came from behind to salvage a point. With qualification still within reach, a win would see them book a place in the knockout round. Now, let's tell about the match fixture. It's a Nigerian team against Congo. Competition is African Nations Championship. The venue is Benjamin Mkapa Stadium, Dar es Salaam, and that's in Tanzania. The date is August 19. Kickoff time, 10:30 p.m. IST, 5 o'clock p.m. GMT, could say 0100 p.m. And also the ET time is 10 a.m. PT. So this is the time for that very game. And I must tell you, we cannot afford to lose that game. You lost 2 games, conceded 5, 4 from Sudanese, 1 from Senegal. Still, till date, the Super Eagles Team B, those players who ply the trade in the MPFL are yet to score a goal, so they can give them the credit they deserve. Without making any talk about the Super Eagles Team B, Nigeria is out, eliminated from that competition. But one thing we are trying to stop, we don't want that bad record to say that Nigeria made it to the CHAN 2024 and never scored a goal in that outing. And you know why? It's my friend who leads the team, Eric Chelle. A lot of words, a lot of controversies, a lot of people are saying a lot. Why not leave the team with Oguma today? Why not leave with Fidesz Ilechukwu? And people are saying a lot. So I want to believe that Eric Chelle knows everything is at stake. Even if he wins, Nigeria will still not qualify. But he needs to just do one thing. He needs to be clinical. He needs to speak words to the boys. He needs to make them understand that this is Nigeria. This is a responsibility. You play for the badge, and you need to give us that result against Congo. Who should have believed that the Sudanese would beat Nigeria in that shambolic manner? 4-0, and that's a bad result. What more can we talk about the Super Eagles be? Bad team. Like worst team so far for me. I don't want to paint it because it's white, and you tell me it's black. No, there's no way to paint it. We don't have that set. And the question is, should we allow these boys, this same set of boys, transition to the national team? These are the same boys Chelle told us. We want to see how we can make them get to be part of the national team. But for me, none of them is good enough. Chelle also said a word. He said the reason why we are losing this way, or the reason why we lost, is that some of our key players traveled abroad to sign professional club contracts. But that's not a yardstick. Millions of Nigerian quality players everywhere. I believe, my opinion, he has gotten what he wants from the NPFL. I believe that this is the best that Nigeria can produce, according to the coach, or this is the best he saw. Because I want to believe that also we can get a team that can beat these boys. But it's not about beating these boys, it's about the results. Congo, even if we beat Congo, we are still out. But how can we go play a tournament without scoring a goal? That would be a very bad one, and that would be a dent to the Super Eagles, Team B, and also to Chelle, most importantly. Now, let's talk about the big blow. There's a news about Super Eagles now. Let's talk about this one. Semi Ajayi is in the news. And this doesn't sound good to share with you, but we need to bring it. If you see that picture of himself at Hull City against Coventry, he was just down and he could not play again. That's Semi Ajayi, who plays for the Super Eagles. He's ruled out because the camp of the senior national team of Nigeria has been rocked by the news that Semi Ajayi wouldn't be available for the upcoming World Cup qualifiers against Rwanda and South Africa, respectively. That's him having your screen without the bars. It works. Let's see. Semi Ajayi is now injured. He would not be part of the team. Hull City confirmed via an announcement that the defender who joined them in the summer will be out of actions for at least, he'll be playing game for at least 6 weeks after picking up a hamstring injury against Coventry. Ajayi, who delivered a dominant display at Coventry City on Saturday, reported some discomfort in his hamstring after the game in the Midlands. While the initial prognosis suggested that it was not serious, with him left out of the City's Carabao Cup exit at the West Ham, as a precaution, a scan has revealed further damage and it's expected he will miss next 4 to 6 weeks. Bad news for Nigeria. And the timescale suggests he won't be available for the Super Eagles game against Rwanda on the 6th of September before traveling to take on league leader South Africa on the 9th of September. Ajayi's injury is a major setback for Nigeria, a major setback for the Super Eagles team, a major setback for Chelle, as the sideline is one of the most reliable defenders. But don't worry so much. We still have William Ekong, we have Calvin Bassey. Then maybe all of these guys can actually get to man that backline well. But Semi Ajayi, you and I know, remains an important member of the squad. Calm and collective. That's why you have a lot of squad. The national team is big, so when one player goes off, it doesn't mean we can't make it to the World Cup. So if you are dependent on the player, that gives you the mind to start complaining. You can start talking a lot about the Super Eagles saying we can't make it against Rwanda. But regardless, I see a different Nigerian boys, a different setup when we play Rwanda come September 6th. But it's about Chelle trying to put 1-1 to make it 2, 2-1 to make it 3, and all of these can work together. If only the boys can own this game, understand that we are in a very precarious situation. We need to be at the World Cup. Nigeria has not been to the World Cup in the last edition till date. So 22-22, we don't know about the World Cup in Qatar. This is 2025. 2026, the World Cup comes. It comes every 4 years. The last time was back in 2018, and it was about getting a draw. Are we going to see Chelle make the Super Eagles become part of the World Cup? Time tells. Don't forget, he was not the one that started the race, and then we need to be calm. Let's stop this complaining and start, mouths waggling, eyebrows being raised, and we're like, Nigeria cannot make it. No, Nigeria, no, Nigeria's not good enough. Let's just take a deep breath, better word, and then possibly get a breather on ourselves and see how that works. Because if we don't make it to the World Cup, I don't think Victor Osimhen will ever play in the World Cup again. I'm sorry, that's like the truth. Most of these guys are aged. The next World Cup will be when 2030, and they will be out of contention. I don't think any of them will be, just the young players. So they've not been to the World Cup. That's a big reason. That's enough reason for them to show the world that they can make it to the next phase. USA, Canada, Mexico, bringing the world together. And if Nigeria don't make it, someone said Nigeria should go and win the Nations Cup and leave the World Cup. But I don't know. I don't know how that works. We are just 3 times African champions. So we are not even African kings in the world of football. Our Nations Cup is small. No comparing to the ladies of the Falcons of the Nigerian side. What about the Egyptian side? So some of these African countries are bigger than Nigeria. So when we say 3-time African champion, it's good you number it. But telling me that Nigeria are the king of African football, then I'll tell you no. But maybe with the quality, yes. Now let's talk about one man I never watched play. 1980 Nations Cup winner, Christian Chukwu of blessed memory today. Rest in peace and keep resting in the God's bosom, I must say. The funeral of Christian Chukwu, former captain of the Super Eagles, and the 1980 Nations Cup winner skipper side, you could say, has begun in Enugu State. So all of the things have been done. That's the squad you see. 1980, look at the way the stadium used to be filled up then. Nigeria game. I never watched any of them play, that's the truth. I know Emmanuel Okala, Adoke Emesemaka, Shegun Digbami, Christian Chukwu, Emmanuel Okala, you know, Sylvanus Okpara. A lot of these guys, I mean, some of them are late today. But according to reports in Enugu State, Christian Chukwu passed away in the early hours of Saturday, April 12, 2025, at the age of 74. At the night of tribute held on Thursday, Governor Peter Mba of Enugu State announced the retirement of the legendary number 5 jersey worn by Christian Chukwu during his career with Rangers International. So, in other words, that jersey number 5 will be retired. We did see that for Franco Baresi of AC Milan. The jersey also got retired. But according to the governor, as fitting tribute to his exploit and the central defender, he said, we will be retiring the iconic number 5 jersey that Christian Chukwu proudly wore throughout his Rangers career. So you won't be seeing any number 5 anymore. The governor also pledged that the Enugu State government would take responsibility of the welfare of the former Rangers player. He further revealed plans to collaborate with federal government to immortalize Chukwu's name. According to the governor, he went as far as saying, through these steps, future generation will walk paths illuminated by Chukwu's ideas. Chukwu, popularly known as Chairman, was born in Enugu State, and he is widely regarded as one of the Nigerian greatest defenders of all time. He did not only win the Nations Cup, he captained Rangers and also the Nigerian national team, and he led us to the country's first ever African Cup of Nations title in 1980. Why would a man like this not be honored? Why would a man of great reputation not be well talked about? Why are we not going to see a 1-minute prayer on every day or every time that I will talk about Christian Chukwu on the day he passed out, which happens to be what date? We'll tell you. The date was April 12. So can we see every April 12, 2026, 27, 28, 29 and counting? Can we see MPFL games? Can we see matches on hold? A mini silent prayer for our legend who died on the struggle. A lot of Nigerian players are late today. Many of them are late. Like, especially when you talk about the 1980, even the 94 squad. I think 94, I think I can really talk more about them than the 1980 set. 94, we have Okeshi, the boss, is late today. What's the name? Thompson Oliha is late today as well. Peter Rufai is late. Now, looking at this set of players, they were the side that had that structure that Nigeria needed, that we felt like we need to keep going and keep running our affairs like that, the way it was as at 94. We were the 5th best country in the world. Do you remember that? So, looking at 94, 96, even 98, the structure was still there. Now, my point remains, those players who played for the national team, who wore the jersey of Nigeria, who played for the honor, who understand what it takes to play for millions of Nigeria, who have said, yes, I'm going to serve my fatherland, I'm going to do all I can to see that I represent Nigeria so well. How well are we paying back to those people? Rashidi Yekini, do you remember how he died? The first player to score a World Cup goal for Nigeria. And he scored, he went to hold the net, and that's an evergreen celebration. The kids will keep talking about Yekini. He's late today. No one is talking about Yekini anymore. He's late. Oliha is late today. Peter Rufai, who was at the goal post, he was at 2 World Cup finals. Yeah, He was in the US 94. He was also in France 98. When we won Spain, did you see him? But today they are late and nobody's talking about them. So after this burial, what happens? I'm liking the fact that the government of Enugu State are placing this on themselves and trying to make sure that everything goes well. But regardless, aside that one, what would the federal government do? What would Nigeria do for these people who represented the country at some level? This is a man who's late today. This is a man who, before he died, was lobbying, he was begging, he was pleading, he was asking, please pay me my debt. Now, I don't want to sound nasty, but it sounds like for every of these Nigerian players who played for the national team that dies, it's like a celebration for the NFF. I'm sorry to sound this way, but why am I saying this? How can we owe the dead? How possible is that? But they said, according to, I saw a clip, the secretary of the NFF, Sanusi, he said something, he said, if he said we are owing him, let him bring the proof. But this man made this call, even when he was alive. And till date, nothing has been done. Taribo West said something. He said, I've lost count of how much they owe me. That's bad news. It's about the Nigerian Football Federation. We need to make things right. These are the reasons why someone born away from Nigeria and you're telling you, please come and represent Nigeria. You'll be like, I don't want to play for Nigeria. Because how do I play for a place where I'm not going to remember for rights? Do you know what it takes to play for the Three Lions? If you play for England, just a match, 2 games, then you know the story. Maybe John Fashanu explains better. But I'm not saying the national team is that bad. But I'm saying the body governing the game. Now we have the NSC, Madam Shehu Diko. I'm so sure he wants to put things right. We need to start making sure that everything goes as planned. We can't be celebrating the death of a legend and then he's still old even in his death. That's a bad one. It's not even well talked about. We can't be known for things like this. He's not the first one, neither is he the second one. So we still see, oh, come on, you got me started, please. I don't want to talk about Nigerian news anymore. We keep seeing people talking about this. When are we going to pay our money? Let's pay them. When we say the money not deal, the money go deal, but we also keep on why? Show us some proof. Someone that is late. There's no proof to say. But he was saying this. He was having some media rounds. He was going around places. He was talking about this. He was on social media. I was owed by the Nigerian Football Federation. He did not just play. He won the Nations Cup as what? A player. He managed the Super Eagles. That's like a call for me. That's like what's the word? That's like solidarity. That's patriotism for me. Played for Nigeria to a high level. Now you can see what the Enugu State government is trying to do. They're trying to make him evergreen. What will Nigeria do about Christian Chukwu? Okay, let's go up that face and tell them more about Amaju Pinnick. The immediate past president of Nigerian Football Federation, NFF, Melvin Amaju Pinnick, has urged fans on the round-leader game across the country to stay hopeful about the Super Eagles' chances of qualifying for next year's FIFA World Cup. VOP TV Sports reports that many Nigerians already despondent as Eagles lie fourth in the qualification group ahead of the restart of action next month. Amaju Pinnick stressed that no one should give up until the last whistle. The former FIFA Council member added, the truth is, we should never give up. We should never give up until the final whistle. And then he recounted how a similar scenario almost played out during the race to Russia 2018 with the Super Eagles, even in a tougher group back then. Yet, the players pulled out the chestnut. Now, Amaju Pinnick noted, he said, I know the Nigerian mentality, but this group that we are competing in was not as tough as it was in our days. I don't know, what's your days? Now, he said, I remember a tougher situation when we qualified for the World Cup in 2018, and that was the last we went. He said, before the qualifiers even started, Nigeria was not given a chance to qualify. The 4 teams in our group were all AFCON winners. Zambia was there, Cameroon was the reigning AFCON champion, and Algeria had gone close 20 matches unbeaten. He concluded with a hint that the right approach to putting Nigerians' 2026 World Cup hope back on track is for the officials and administrators to have one-on-one chats with the Eagles. Are you understanding? This is like a mind game. He said he's urging the players, urging them to stay focused and motivate them to put the best of their efforts. And I'm liking this one. Father figure, one-on-one conversation, talk to the players, make them understand what's at stake, even though we know they know. But be like an eye-opener. Tell them, many of you are aged. Many of you will not be playing at the next World Cup. Many of you would end your career without knowing what a World Cup looks like. This will be bad to your career. You need to play this game to a high level and understand how it works. Playing against Rwanda, none of these countryside are pushovers. So I'm liking Amadio Pinnick for what he's saying and then encouraging the officials, the administrators, do everything you know you can do right. Anything that can motivate these players to understand that they need to be at the World Cup. Not about the NFF going to the World Cup, it's about the players. Their name will be hidden in the history, written out somewhere to say that this player represented Nigeria at the 2026 World Cup, and that would be nice and great to see. But in the words of Amadio Pinnick, he said, the Nigerian came to Uyo, they intimidated us with several jets and all kinds of ideas. I just told our players, don't look at what they are doing. That's how we won the game and we qualified. So Amadio Pinnick is a man that can talk and I will listen, if not for any reason, because he has been here before. He said the same thing can still happen this year. Let's just keep working towards it and on and on and on and on, keep being focused. But I tell you, the Super Eagles will first host Rwanda next month before playing away to South Africa, after which they will visit Lesotho in October and then end the series at home with Benin Republic in that same range. So time tells to know if Nigeria will make it to the World Cup or not. If they don't make it to the World Cup, we'll still do the job. If they make it to the World Cup, we'll still do the job. But what happens when Nigeria make it to the World Cup? Possibly more gigs, more outing, more exposure-wise, and then possibly be there to see that very game in the US of A, where we just believe that we can make it to the World Cup. But it's not all about believing, because now what we like to do, we so much believe that we can be at the World Cup. Can Eric Chelle put these players together and not allow what the Chan team is doing to affect him on this job? Because someone told me, no, it wouldn't affect him more. And I said, no, he's human. He's under pressure. This is like his first official outing, but not with the main team he signed up for. But being the Super Eagles coach, you are in charge of the Chan team. Many of the coaches allow these assistants to take over. Now, that's why on social media it's trending out there. Everyone is saying, why did Eric Chelle not allow Ogumodede and Electrical continue this job? Why? So, were we going to say this if, peradventure, he had won his first game and possibly get to draw his second game? Of course not. But because he lost to Senegal, who I understand are the better side because they are the holding champions, and lost to a smallish side. Oh my goodness. The Sudanese are going through a lot. Please go to Sudan if you're Sudanese or you're from Sudan. Just go and see what's going on in Sudan. But they felt like this game will play for the nation. We don't care about who is Sikiru Alimi. We don't care about the Undoka. We don't care about these players. All we know is to get the result. That's a massive result. And of course, what? They got the result. And now we sing the praise of Sudan because they are top in the group. So against Senegal, a draw will take them through. They drew against Congo. They won Nigeria 4-0, and that's ruled us out. So even if we beat Congo, it doesn't make any sense. But Congo needs to beat Nigeria so they can find themselves advancing and possibly hope to see what happens between Senegal and Sudan. So that's about the Chan team, and that's how far it's been so far. Not going well for Nigeria. If you ask me, I for one would never pick any of these boys, never pick any of these boys to the Super Eagles. I'm not saying we can't pick out some good players, but I'm just saying that this team is like the worst team for me. And then Richard told us he went around the MPFL to get these players. Some people are saying, why do you pack Remo Star boys in your team? If you know you want to do that, why not allow Daniel Ogumodede, who knows them well, to lead them? But all of this are social media talk and social media rants. Definitely in life, mouths will keep waggling, eyebrows will be raised, and then people will like to talk about what they need to talk about, and that will make it football. But we go on a quick break. When we return, the show continues. We'll leave you possibly some of the interviews. That's one of our Maureen, and also bring you Ateta's interview. And right after that, we'll be back on the show to tell you more. Don't go anywhere. Please stay with us.
Peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secrets. We're diving deep where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on Voice of the People TV. We don't just report, we reveal. We don't just ask, we uncover. Because when it comes to the skies, ignorance is turbulence. Aviation scope. The sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOPTV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOPTV, Voice of the People Television.
Hi, my name is Tosin Mohammed. I'm a gospel artist. Keep watching VOP TV. Almighty Father, you are the mighty.
All the game.
That was a penalty.
No. Before the penalty. You don't remember the game. I remember the game. Altai was unbelievable in that game. So I consider everything to put one on another, and I choose Altai. I think we proved today that we can win any game in the Premier League, especially against a great team like Arsenal, and we were the better team. So I'm happy with the players.
My question, are you happy with the 3 goalkeepers?
I'm happy with the 3 goalkeepers. I think you can watch the goal. I think it's allowed to do a lot of things in the corners. We need to do the same, but when you touch that way in the goalkeeper, he needs to use his hands to catch the ball, not to push players, or he chooses to push players and let the ball pass. But again, it's the rules. If he's allowed, we need to do the same thing. He suffered a goal like this where?
Tottenham last season.
Without VAR. With VAR, with VAR is a foul. And then what happened in the next game?
Okay, may I ask?
What happened in the next game?
At Wolves.
No, not at Wolves. The next one, Arsenal. Who saved the penalty? Who saved the game? All the game.
That was a penalty.
No. Before the penalty. You don't remember the game. I remember the game. Altai was unbelievable in that game. So I consider everything to put one on another, and I choose Altai. I think we proved today that we can win any game in the Premier League, especially against a great team like Arsenal, and we were the better team. So I'm happy with the players.
My question, are you happy with the 3 goalkeepers?
I'm happy with the 3 goalkeepers.
Very difficult thing to do. That's why I talk about the reaction to that. Because big results coming first game of the season at Old Trafford. When you feel that they are building something special, momentum with the new signings, and they want to kick on the season in a good way, and you are able to come away with the win, I think very happy and proud of the team. When you see, I think there are 7-8 situations when the ball is completely open to play through, and we are on, and we're attacking the keeper. And we give that ball away, and then becomes a basketball game. And I got basketball game against a team that is extremely good at finishing action with the quality that they had. That's a very difficult thing to do. That's why I talk about the reaction to that. Because if you don't react in relation to that mistake quick enough, sharp enough, you are in big problem. He did a lot of things very good. You can tell, especially in our high press and the rhythm that we demand, that especially in the first half we were given a bit too much time. It's something that we have to work on him. Especially there, and then finalizing situation, he didn't have that many chances to do that because, as I said, on the previous action before we had to play that last ball.
Yes, welcome back from that quick break. Before we have the media news coming up next, but let's tell you some of the games that will play later today. We have the African Nations Championship, the game that will be taking out. We'll see Algeria play against Nigeria Republic, and that's 6 p.m. Nigerian time. We'll bring you also South Africa, Uganda, 6 p.m. as well, Nigeria time. The Premier League continues. Leeds United will welcoming at Ellen Road Everton, and that's a game you must see, 8 p.m. Nigerian time. Away from that one, we'll also see some games that were played in football world, La Liga, EA Sports. It will be LJ welcoming Real Betis. There's no Isco on this very one. Thank you so much. This is where we have to call it a wrap on the show. The Sports Public Show will come your way again tomorrow. Make sure you stay here with us on Ghana, where we have the media news coming up next. And right after the media news, you know what's next? It's the Spotlight Show. My name is Kizzy Ken. I'm signing out, the only football player without a jersey. I'll see you tomorrow. Happens to be Tuesday. Peace.